Two consecutive... Nah, I'm kidding. I don't need to say it again, do I? Lord knows I said it enough in the last episode. But coming off of back-to-back cups, we do have a very, very important off-season coming up. Once again, we're going to need to restructure things. Quickly, though, we'll see if the Utica Comets can pull off the upset of the century, and they cannot. The Comets go down in the Calder Cup Finals in 5 games. So we can't complete the sweep of the Stanley and Calder Cups, but it was still one hell of a season. Everything's coming up Millhouse for this team right about now. We'll quickly take a look at the awards before moving on to the draft. A very important draft where we have a shitload of picks in the first round. And maybe, just maybe, we can get the first overall pick once again, despite winning the Stanley Cup. But taking a look at the awards, Jack Eichel, expect him to take home a lot of hardware. He gets the Art Ross and the Hart. The James Norris, oh my god. The James Norris goes to Chychrun. It's his first. Carlson upset Doughty, and he paves the way for Chychrun to win his first Norris, the now 2-time Stanley Cup champion. Unreal. The Lady Byng goes to Tyler Seguin. Once again, Jared Sidhu, as expected, wins the Calder. I had hope for Ray Makers, maybe if we ran with him in the playoffs. Steven Stamkos with the Conn Smythe, the Vezina to Gibson. He gets the Jennings as well. The Masterton to Bergman of San Jose. Jared Stahl gets his second consecutive Selke Trophy, and Eichel getting the Ted Lindsay. And the Rocket Richard to John Tavares. In the AHL, do we take home any hardware? We do not. Ristolainen and Pavelski so far, the only ones to do so. Jonathan Bernier wins Goalie of the Year. So a lot of hardware for members of the Stockton Heat and this prospect Pavelski in Rockford. But overall, once again, how can you complain about this season? Things are just going right for this team. Well, let's see if our incredible string of luck can continue. Can we get our second consecutive first overall pick? And guys, wouldn't you know it, for the second straight year, not only the cup, but the first overall pick. As you can see down in the bottom right-hand corner, Alex Ovechkin retires. But we have the first overall pick. We also have the 5th pick, so 2 picks inside the top 5. Let's see where our other picks land. 11th overall, 14th overall, and I believe we have one more, the 22nd pick. Do we have the 30th as well? We do. A shitload of picks, guys. We can do some real good damage here. The only question is whether or not there are defensemen, because that's really what we need to bolster, is our defense. Unfortunately, no defenseman inside the top 5, so we go with Laurent Desrochers. Not good with my French, but we take him first overall. Once again, not a franchise talent, but he does have the potential to grow in to a franchise talent. Medium elite, once again for the number 1 overall pick. Next up, the 5th overall pick, and I just had a feeling, guys, he was the last player inside the top 5. Somehow Pyatt was in the top 5. He was the last player inside the top 5. I don't necessarily think we need a goalie because of Nyquist, but we draft Bergeron, another elite potential goalie. This is ridiculous. Just by process of elimination, I picked the Swede Backlund, and he is elite potential. Now, 3 picks. This is already our best draft ever. This is unreal. Elite potential Backlund. I was looking at Tarasov prior to picking the goalie Bergeron, but my god, what a draft for us already. 3 elite picks. Guys, I'm done. This is ridiculous. You have seen my draft luck in the past. With our next pick, we draft Doyle, who is also elite potential. What the fuck is going on? A top 6 defenseman, a top 6 forward, and then we get another elite player. This is unreal. Jesus Christ, you guys are going to think I'm rigging this. This is unbelievable. Another elite potential. Is this what it feels like to open hut packs and just get like Ovechkin after Ovechkin like some people do? I don't even need those fucking hut packs. Give me this draft. This is unbelievable. The 22nd pick, we draft Sloan. Again, I was looking at the list. I wanted that top 4 defenseman. Needless to say, I will take Sloan Oh my god. Now, unfortunately, our luck runs out a little bit. The Islanders draft an elite player themselves, 29th overall, which might be the latest I've ever seen an elite player go. But we do pick up a defenseman, our first defenseman, top 4. I have yet to see a defenseman higher than top 4 potential, so just not the best draft for D-men, but what an incredible first round for us. Absolutely unreal. Our first pick of the second round, a little bit lower, I'm not complaining. Top 6 forward Jovanovski with the 4th pick of the second round. Our next 2 picks, guys, and I'm done. I might just end the episode on the draft. This is insane. 2 more top 6 picks with the 21st and 22nd overall picks of the second round. It's almost like for all the drafts I've ever done, especially the ones on YouTube with the Bruins and the Canucks, it's making up for lost time, and I really appreciate it. Our next pick, 24th overall, and we fall down just a bit. Low top 4 potential. Not amazing, but still a top 4 D-man, and you never know, he might actually grow into being medium top 4. EA, if you're watching this, what the hell? Just what the hell do you think you're doing? What are you doing to me? What are you doing to me? 29th and 30th overall in the second round, we get 2 more top 6 guys after teams are picking top 9s. How is this? I'm just picking guys because I mostly scouted defensemen. I'm just picking guys who are near the top of the list for people that are to be scouted next, because there's really no defensemen in this current range. This is just ridiculous, man. Next up, our third pick of the third round, and you guys know as of late I've normally been going only to the end of the second round, but if these picks are going to keep being this good, fuck it, who cares? We get Kondratiev, medium top 4 offensive defenseman. Next up, we continue to strike gold. In the third round, 11th overall, we get a top 9 forward, a playmaker, Fane. EA, you're ruining my legitimacy here. There is no way people aren't going to accuse me of fucking fixing this. This is unbelievable. 2 more top 9 forwards, Varlamov and Dryden. 21st and 22nd overall of the third round. And guys, I did not show you the last couple of picks. Top 6 and more top 9. The most ridiculous draft I have ever had. Like I said, 2 cups and now this fucking draft. But now that fun is over, we move into a very serious situation. That being the current contract list. We are in an extremely rough spot moving forward with players needing to be re-signed. I'm at $28 million. I genuinely don't know if we can afford to re-sign everybody. Demko needs a new deal. Seth Jones needs a new deal. Let's see, Jordan Kyrou needs a new contract. Drouin, Kajula, all need new deals. Austin Matthews, Danton Heinen. This is not going to be easy. Now, obviously, Austin Matthews takes precedent. Is his point total where we've wanted it to be? As I try to do the math in my head. No, his point total isn't where we wanted it to be. I'm going to try to lowball him with the, the fucking, 0.85 of the contract offer. I'm going to see if he accepts that. Hopefully he doesn't get insulted over the deal. But before I send an offer to anybody else, I need to know that Austin Matthews is back and here to stay. And of course, if the 0.85 trick works, that's perfect. And it did work, which is amazing because, like I said in the comment section of a video not too long ago, that hasn't worked for me as of late. I had tried it in the past and then stopped trying it because it wasn't working. But yeah, so let me go ahead. We'll cut off now because I'm going to offer everybody that deal, and then we'll move forward and see what happens. So quickly, I'll give you a look at what we have done. We have offered Demko a deal. Every RFA has been sent a qualifying offer, and Tanner Pearson has been outright released. But of course, once we figure this all out, we have to have a look at free agency, turn over a lot of the roster and people who are, simply not going to progress the way we need to. And of course, some of the other players we have just drafted. DeRocher is an 82 overall at 19 years old. My God. Like, seriously, the draft was just absolutely insane for us. And you know what? We'll actually take a look at some of the overalls. This might end up being a longer episode because I'm doing this. Bergeron needs a little bit of work, that's for sure. We'll take a look at the skaters in terms of overall and see if there's anyone else that's as ridiculous as DeRocher. I don't expect that to be the case, but you never know. Bolt is an 80. Holy shit, when did we draft him? Wasn't he third round? Second round, and he's a fucking 80. Oh my god, man. I have been gifted, just been sent a gift from the EA gods. Schneider is the next highest of the 73. So we have two guys who could very well crack the lineup right now. So if we are in a cap situation, we have young guys who are going to be stepping into this lineup immediately. Just ridiculous, but let's see if we can get everybody to resign. Danton Heinen is back. Seth Jones, Demko, Drouin, Kajula. The 0.85 trick absolutely works. From there on out now, we just need to look at our cap space, which is only $2 million, and we have a lot of people left to sign. So let's move forward to free agency, and then we're really going to have to get rid of some people, which is a shame, but like I said, we won, and now we have to deal with the aftermath. And as we hit free agency, at least one person has signed their qualifying offer. That would be Steven Shanahan, and he is the only one. So quickly, we'll take a look at the free agent list, although we're not going to be able to do much here. And let's see, there's not really any big fish. Oshie, Skinner, Forsberg. As far as defensemen, it's Nick Leddy. Chris Bigras is there. Anas from Minnesota. So yeah, I'm not too concerned about not really having the cap space to go after any free agents, because there's really not anybody I want other than the players we have already, although of course there may be prospects, but we need to take care of our roster first. First up, it's a trade I didn't necessarily want to make, but we've sent Joseph Raymakers to the Boston Bruins for their first, fourth, fifth, and sixth round pick this year. Now yes, I am picking Demko over Raymakers. I think Raymakers will be a very strong goalie. Boston could certainly use him. Right now they have Jake Allen, so now they have somebody to compete with him, and of course Boston still has to sign him. And as far as our draft picks currently go, we have 3, because we also have Carolina's from the Elias Lindholm deal. Again, not an easy trade to make, and not one that I wanted to make. You guys know Colton Parayko was probably the main guy I wanted to acquire to help build the defense around, and Renat Valiev just kind of fell into our hands. But simply put, this clears up more than $11 million in cap space from Detroit. We get a shitload of picks this year. Of course, it helps out Detroit. They join Troy Stetcher. Now we simply have to rely on our defenders, because if you look quickly at our defensive situation, I was tempted to go with Triamkin or Jones, but they have such great chemistry together. Chychrun and Carlson. Carlson's actually on a pretty damn affordable deal. We need to rely on somebody like Nicolishin, Puto, Peters. We're going to have a weaker third pairing this year, but this is going to allow us to keep some of our offensive players. We now, of course, have $11 million in cap space cleared up. Not a deal I wanted to make, but it's been made. So moving forward, because of those trades, we were not only able to sign or at least offer contracts to all of our RFAs, we were also able to offer contracts to some of the better free agent prospects that are out there. Now it's just a question of who signs and whether or not we need to make another deal. More deals will certainly come as we cycle out people. Alex Karpatsev has been offered a deal by Washington. I'm going to match that. I do not want to lose him, so we will match that deal. Junior Machias, who is a free agent, has accepted. Vladimir Leonov has declined, which is fine. Dmitry Nicolishin has declined because of contract duration. Gilroy's back. Carlson, Karpatsev, Noonan, who is a free agent, Alex Peters, Matainen, Cameron Askew has declined despite the .85 shirt. Kavanaugh, a free agent. Puto is back. So overall, not bad, but we do still have a couple of decent. Tanner Pearson went to the Ducks. What a douchebag. We do still have a couple of RFAs that we need to take care of. As far as any free agents that declined, I'm not even going to worry about them at this point. We're at 37 contracts, so I am certainly going to have to cycle people out. But so far, you see the remaining RFAs. Nicolishin needs a contract. I'll give him the term he wants. I won't do the 0.85 trick. We'll just bring it down to 1.5. Same with Cameron Askew, who might very well be traded. I'll just give him what he wants because, honestly, 11 million cap, we should be fine. Although, really, because Kiru, Sorella, and McCann, well, Velarde for that matter, as long as they accept under the 0.5 trick, we should be fine, and we should not have to trade away anybody else. But let's advance a day and see what happens. And Jared McCann has declined the 0.85. Kiru has accepted. Velarde declined. Sorella declined. Case in point, the 0.85 trick for me does not always work. So we've sent out offers once again. Let's go ahead now and see if anybody signs. By the way, Raymakers has signed with the Bruins, so that is interesting. Erik Karlsson, by the way, suffered a concussion in the finals. Nicolishin has declined. Askew accepts. Nicolishin is being pretty goddamn stubborn, and I don't appreciate it. Jimmy Vesey also to the Ducks. See, look at that. Anaheim trying to become Vancouver, and they will fail because we're not done being Vancouver just yet. I am excited to see what this team looks like in full. Nicolishin, though, needs to stop being fucking stubborn and just accept 1.5. I'm pretty sure that's what I offered him before. But 1.5, just fucking accept it so we can move on. You are increasing the length of this fucking episode already. McCann declines. Velarde declines. Sorella accepts. Jesus Christ, these guys are being absolute twats as the menu system glitches out because, my God, Lord knows I have not made it through a single episode without this happening. Oh, there we go. It finally stopped. McCann, Velarde, and Nicolishin, the last holdouts. I will give McCann 4.3. I'll do it at this point. Fuck it. We might not even be able to sign McCann and Velarde to both of them to contracts. I don't think we actually have enough space because they're being douchebags and won't accept. Granted, I know I just praised EA for handing me this amazing draft, but right now cap is suddenly becoming an issue again as we're getting pretty deep into free agency. Somebody declined. I didn't see who because I was just spamming the A button. Well, Jared McCann, please fucking accept. Thank you. Velarde has not. So I don't know why I'm keeping this alive. I'm only increasing the length of this fucking episode. But I actually don't think we have enough to sign Velarde right now. Velarde and Nicolishin are going to be holdouts. So I'm going to try and sim. And if it gets to the point where they might be claimed or be sent contract offers, we'll stop and see what we have to do in regards to cap. Now, unfortunately, we could not come to terms with Gabriel Velarde due to the cap situation. We trade him, along with 2 fourth-round picks, way down the line for Columbus's first-round pick this year. Now, again, it's a trade I didn't necessarily want to make. You know, Velarde had some good performances for us, but he was the lowest player in terms of the starting lineup, in terms of his potential when you pair him up against somebody like Yoensu. We also have, of course, Vertanen still here. Alexi Sorella, I want to keep him with Horvat and Castles. You had Kiru and Karlsson. Who knows, maybe I should have traded Jordan Kiru instead, just due to some of the performances we have seen from Velarde. But in the end, it is Velarde. And actually, now that I've done it, maybe it should have really been Kiru. But I don't think it'll bother us too much. We do get a first-round pick out of it, bringing, I believe, our first-round pick total to 4 for this upcoming season, 2023. Let's see. Oh, my God. Correction. It is 5. Even better. And after a little bit of consideration and the fact that a certain number 1 overall pick is an 84 overall, Jordan Kiru is also going to be traded this time to the Maple Leafs for a 2nd and 3rd round pick this year. Now begins the cycling out. The first one to go is Karpatsev, who despite being bottom 6 has really good potential, but we're still going to take advantage of that. Peter Cehlarik goes with him. He is capped out. He is locked now that he is 27. we trade them to Columbus for their second-round pick this year and their first-round pick in 2025. Next up, Alexi Sarela. He is the odd man out due to progression from our prospects. We sent him to Colorado straight up for their first-round pick this year. As you may have seen, I lost morale because of it, because of his RFA status, which is kind of bullshit, but I'll take the morale hit. That's fine. Next up, it's another trade with Colorado, albeit some solid prospects, but from the looks of it, Utica is going to be only elite or top 6 forwards at the moment. So we shift out a bunch of top 9 forwards, the first batch, to Colorado for a first and 2 seconds. And this last trade hurts to do because it's going to kill the morale from trading Machias, but it also helps out a divisional rival a bit, but it also makes them weaker as we trade another group of guys to Edmonton for their first, 4th, and 6th round picks. Now, as the roster's pretty much settled, I will give you guys a look at the draft picks, and I know I've said in the past I like to keep it realistic, but obviously this isn't the most realistic sim we could have done. I have traded away all of our 5th, 6th, and 7th round picks, and there were a lot of them. As you can see, we have quite a few 4ths, quite a few 3rds, a lot of 2nds, and a shitload of 1sts. 4, 5, 6... We have more 1sts than we did last year. So yeah, that's interesting. And we picked up some extra picks in next year's draft as we traded away the lower picks from this year's. We actually have one more trade to make as we trade Ernest, Brown, Smith, and Crooks. Crooks, of course, we just drafted. We trade them to Columbus for a 2nd and 3rd round pick. Down the road, simply put, their bottom 6 forwards, they've fallen from where they were when we drafted them. They're no longer required. So guys, finally, after legitimately I'm looking at the raw file counter right now, it's an hour and 31 minutes that has gone into this off season. Don't let anybody fool you into think I phoned these in. Here is the lineup, and I am so excited for the next season. Will it be good enough to get the three-peat? I don't know. Top line to start the season, Drouin, Matthews, Stamkos. Second line, Jared McCann, who is going to be in his last year of development. Danton Heinen, who is now locked in at 27 years old and 85 overall. Jake Virtanen, also 26. The new line, Esa Yoensu, elite potential in 85. The number 1 overall pick, Laurent Desrochers, elite potential still 84 overall. And then Robert Karlsson, a draft pick not too long ago, 84 overall, is here. If they start to struggle, we can mix and match. The 4th line right now is the veteran line, which is hilarious. Kajula, Bo Horvat, and Cole Castles. We can mix and match where it needs to be, but it'll basically be based off of performance. Defensively, Chychrun and Karlsson. Chychrun at an 88. Right now, some of the overalls are a bit screwed up due to the ridiculously low morale number because of the ridiculous amount of trades, turnover, and of course, signing some people and immediately getting rid of them. But Chychrun is with Karlsson, Tryamkin Jones, the new defenseman, Puteau, and Dmitry Nikolishin. We will see what they can do. Obviously, it's a downgrade from Valiev and from Colton Parayko. And of course, we've worked it out so that we do have some cap space, so maybe we could have kept one of those two, but it is what it is. Goaltender, Demko's still our guy. Torsten Nyqvist, I'm very, very tempted to have him be in the AHL, but his role has switched over to backup goalie. So we'll be giving him a shot. Unfortunately, he's fallen to starter potential, and that's a big thing. A lot of players we have drafted have fallen down in rank, and you will see that in the AHL. So as we switch over to Utica, I'm excited about this top line, guys. Melvin Doyle, Esa Hall, and Wade Savage, all elite. We will see what they can do. Obviously, Hall and Doyle very low overall, but they'll be getting plenty of playing time, plenty of progression opportunities. Jaden Bolt, 82 overall, just drafted. Depth forward. We could technically put him in the lineup. We will start him down in Utica. He is with Logan Dryden and Brendan Schneider, both top 6. Everyone in the lineup is top 6 from here. Jorgen Backlund, Rich Gallant, the draft pick from not too long ago, and Jake Sloan. 4th line, Safronov, Shanahan, and Henry Stock. Defensively is where players dropped. Gunnarsson, top 6. Korolyuk is our only top 4. Corey dropped to a top 6, and Kondratiev, who I'm pretty sure was a top 4, has dropped to a top 6. Our scratched players, mainly it's only defense, Gilroy and Peters. If they start to complain about their ice time, we're going to have to put them in. I'm keeping these two, even though I don't think either will make our roster. I'm keeping them in case of injury because obviously we're icing such a young lineup. I don't want to call up a 79 overall. Having an 81 overall would be nice. The goaltenders, it's going to be Daniel Bergeron, the elite goalie that we just drafted, and thank God we drafted him now that Nyquist fell to a starter. The backup's going to be Raymond Martins. Originally, Martins was going to be Demko's backup, and Nyquist was going to be down in the AHL. We did also sign, though, our other goalie prospect, Robert Klingberg, who I was tempted to do the similar situation with Alex Peters and Will Gilroy, where it would have been, scratch him, and if he starts to complain, put him in the lineup. But I don't want to risk it, because if we have an injury, already goalie is a little bit thin. But it's a new era for Vancouver, a lot of new faces this year. The question is, how will they perform? But quickly, too, I'll give you a look. 65 locker room chemistry to start in the AHL. It's somehow an 81, but you can see the overall numbers much, much lower than they were last year. But just imagine what those players are going to grow into. As far as Vancouver goes, 96 offense, 93 defense, 89 goaltending. Not too bad. But guys, that'll do it for this episode. Again, I hope you enjoyed. These off-season videos are always a toss-up, and I never really know what the team is going to end up looking like as we get ready for the next season sim. But I'm excited for both teams. I'm especially excited to see how the progression goes down in Utica. But of course, let me know down in the comments below if there's something you thought I could have done better or something I didn't show, which I'm pretty sure I covered everything. But bottom line, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to drop a like, subscribe for more, to continue following this series as next season we go for the three-peat. It looks a little bit less likely, but you never know. Despite the fact that some players from this past draft, this amazing draft, declined in potential, you never know what's going to happen in this sim.
How's it going, everyone? Tuga here, back again with some more NHL 16 and my Back to the Basics tutorial series. Now for this video, this is certainly harder to make than the offensive positioning tutorial because simply put, this game doesn't cater to doing this, but really what this will help establish is you knowing who is your responsibility.